Hello Auto Trader, my name is Oliver and I'm selling this W204 C250 AMG Sport Plus 7G Tronic, 7G, 7 gears. I don't know what the Tronic is, but yeah, it's got that blue efficiency tech. It's also got the some AMG aspects to it that make it really special. And with it being a C250, you get that 2.2 litre diesel with a big ass turbo, and I'll show you a little bit of the performance aspect in a little bit. But some viewers, well, not viewers, but some people that saw the car on Auto Trader asked for a video, so this is a video of the car and a little more in depth of what the car's got, some of the downsides of it, and I'll go through it in detail. So starting here on the left side of the car, I've got the window partially open, so it's tinted all the way around. As you can see, the rear window is tinted, fully tinted. So legally in the UK, the front windows, I think it's 2%. The front side windows are 5%. These are the maximum tints, by the way. So 5%, and then the rear windows, you can have them up to 100. Fully tinted basically. So the rear is 100%, the rear back 50%, I believe. Basically you can't see in at all for the rear window. It just looks like one piece of glass that runs all the way up the top. You can see in a little bit through the rear windows, just a tiny bit, and then obviously the sides, they're 5%. And the front, it's barely noticeable, if I'm honest. On a sunny day, the great thing is it reflects the light, so not that many people can see you, but it'll be the maximum at 2%. So there is a slight tint, but it's barely noticeable. And again, on the side front windows, barely noticeable tint. So yeah, starting off with the exterior, I'll show you first of all the brake calipers have been painted red. You can get the wheels off and touch them up yourself if you're not entirely happy with the red. It's not as vibrant or as red as it was from the car being new, obviously, and all that. The wheels are painted black, and it's a matte black, so they don't stand out too much. You don't want anything too glossy because you got shiny wheels driving around. This is not America. Just a nice matte black. They could do with a bit of a refurb, but that just depends on your taste. The car's a 2012, we're in 2014, 12 years. You're not driving the latest car that's come out this year, so you just want something that blends in, and you can't be too bothered about stuff like tiny scuffs on the wheels. This is a daily use car. It gets you 60, maybe even 80 miles per gallon on the motorway. This is a car you drive to work and back. This is a car that you use for your everyday life. So some of the tiny bits, you will need to tighten the bolt there on the side. That's just a case of going underneath and then tightening the bolt, making sure all the panels are flush. And I believe the only one that's not flush is that, but that's a downside. Again, there's a tiny bit of TLC on this car, but the pros majorly outweigh the cons, and I'll be going through everything. This is a car I've loved and I've owned for close to a year. It was my dream car for a long time, and I'll be honest, my dream car is a C63 in the W204, and obviously it would have to be the Black Series, which is a collectible, and I'd own that car for life, which is why I wanted this car. This is the closest you get to a C63 Black Series on a budget. Here it is, the beast. Aerodynamics absolutely perfect. Let me show you from the back actually a little bit. And if you're wondering where I am in the city of Hull, northeast of the UK. I can deliver the car for a deposit. If you pay the deposit, non-refundable, I'll deliver the car, and obviously you're paying me to come out there wherever you are. Now look how aggressive this body is. It's got a nice little spoiler that's barely noticeable at the back. There it is. So when you're driving down the road and you see this, it's just aggressive, sporty, and just beautiful. A blacked out AMG badge on the right hand side there, as you can see. The reg says Brabus as well, which is quite cool. But let's put the camera down a little bit and just admire the size of those rear wheels. They're just, you know, as you're driving down the road, massive rear wheels, absolutely aggressive, very sporty, and just an all-around beautiful car. And you know, a lot of people say the W204 is by far the best body shape that Mercedes has ever made. It's one of the most reliable, one of the most, maybe not fuel efficient, because obviously you got electric cars now, hybrid cars and so on, but at the time, the most fuel efficient. If you go back to 2012, this was the best you can own. People will say the E-Class, but the cost to run an E-Class in terms of tax, insurance, they're just not worth the extra little bit that you get compared to a C-Class. So if you get a C-Class, it's obviously not an A-Class, it's a lot more sporty, way more features that I'll get into shortly in terms of optional extras. It looks incredible, but it's not as expensive to run as, say, an E-Class, an S-Class, and so on. So this is the best of everything. So yeah, going further with the exterior. So I've got a few chips on the wheel there, and that could come from turning when you turn the wheel where there's a curb, essentially. So moving on to the front, it's got that C63 front grille, and it looks sexy as anything. The Mercedes badge at the front there. It's a miserable day in Hull. We're right by the Humber River there that goes into the North Sea, and we've got various ports. There's the whole marina down there. The marina actually does extend out further. There's the Deep, a few attractions here to look at, and obviously the marina did extend all the way down here as well, but this is just used as a reservoir, just I don't know, just to look pretty. Anyway, there's Port of Immingham, Port of Goa, a few attractions here that you might see in the background, in the distance. For example, if you zoom in far back there is a Grimsby. Anyway, back to the car. It's got some beautiful LEDs. Let me just turn those on. I'll move on to the inside shortly, but let me see if I can do this. Oh shit, it's gonna start beeping. Where are my keys? Okay, so I've got the key in there. Let me open the window just in case I close the door and yeah, forget the keys. Okay, through the magic of editing, we're back inside the car, and using the same button, you can pull it down to close the final bit of the roof, or you can push it up and it opens the roof slightly. And this is what I love most about this car, because what you can do is you can have the windows closed so you don't get that massive gust of air blowing at you, but you can still get some fresh air from the outside. And that's by partially opening the roof like that, by, you know, pressing that roof button up and down, and it gives it a slightly open roof, and you still get fresh air, and it looks incredible when you're driving down. Check that out. And you're still getting a bit of fresh air, especially in summer, because in summer, as you know, heat rises. In winter, the cold falls. Basically, in summer, when it's really hot, you can open the window up a little bit like that, and the heat will escape, and the car will remain nice and cool. And, you know, it's just nice to have that, I guess. So you're not opening the window, the roof completely. You're just partially leaving it open, just like that. So, yeah, moving on in the car, I'll open the roof completely by pressing it back. So moving on in the car, let's touch on some other features, such as the doors. So you've got memory seats. So if you like your seat in a certain way, but your wife likes it in another way, and then you've got, say, a brother that likes it in a different way, you can all save your settings. You get 3 options, so 1, 2, 3. And yeah, I'm not gonna go through the memory. Actually, let me touch on the memory seat. So the way you set it is, you press a button, say number 3. So if I like the way number 3 was set to, it'll go to the seating that is number 3. So whoever set it when it was number 3, this is how they drove. I don't think that was me because I can't remember which number I set myself to. And then this is number 2, so you press and hold on a button and the seat will move to whatever setting you set it. And then this is number 1, and also the steering is electronic, so depending on how you like to sit facing upwards, blah 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 blah. Anyway, electronic seats again. So this bit controls the headrest. You can move that up and down. This bit is essentially like a seat. You can move it left, right, and you know, you're controlling the seat in that sense. Really lean back. And again, with this bit, you can go up, you can go down, and you can go left and right. If you like to sit all the way forward, whoop, wrong one. There we go, all the way forward, you can do that. And if you like to sit all the way back because you're about 12 foot tall, you can push it all the way back. And again, this applies to the steering. So on the steering wheel, on the left hand side, you've got that, which moves the steering wheel up and down. So if you like your steering all the way up to the top, all the way down to the bottom. I like my steering wheel all the way down, my seat laid back a little bit. I want to enjoy the car, you know what I mean? You've got one of the best cars that came out in 2012. I'd argue the best car, because other cars that people argue are better, they'll pick a Ferrari and it doesn't have electronic seats, you know what I mean? Yes, it'll drive fast, yes, the performance is there, but you can't take your kids to school in it. It's not safe, it doesn't have the side airbags and so on. It's not practical, essentially, for driving as a normal person. But if you're on a track, maybe a Ferrari is better, but I'd argue this car is the best in 2012 for the average person. So safety, comfort, sport, everything. Moving on anyway. So as I touched on the seats on the inside, we'll start from the doors, we'll work our way in to the passenger side, and then we'll go to the driver's side, and then I'll turn the car on. I'll do an up and down drive. I think the video might be a bit shaky because I don't have a phone holder, but I'll do my best. So we'll do a little video. So anyway, back to the doors. You can lock and unlock the doors as usual. This is for the wing mirrors. You can control that mirror from here. You press left mirror or right mirror. I was on left mirror there, I think. Anyway, you can press that and then you can control where the mirror is facing. I don't know if you can see that turning. Yeah, and then you turn it the other way and it should face the phone more. There we go. Move it down, up. I'm gonna have to reset that anyway. And then obviously the windows, so passenger and driver side window. So driver side window going up, going down, and they all work as they should, despite, well, it's only been 12 years, but as you can see, and as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the best cars you'll ever own. So window going down, window going up, stop, down, stop, and there you go. And that is it. There's also one button down here just for the boot. So there is a button on the key as well. Let me turn this off. So on the key, there's also there we go, it's focused. There's a boot button. You can press that boot button. That beeping is because I haven't switched off the lights. So when you've got the lights, you should always have them on auto because you don't want to forget the lights on, but it will beep to let you know. And also on auto, the lights turn on when it's dark, and you know, you don't have to remember about turning on. That's the one thing I hated about owning a different car. So at one point I owned a Citroen and basically I'd always have to remember to turn on the lights when it gets a bit dark, and it's like, what? I thought this is auto. But yeah, it's just me driving a Mercedes too much. Anyway, boot open, and the boot pops open. We'll move on to that boot later. It's a nice spacious boot, but we're gonna move on through this. That's what the boot open button does anyway. And then moving on, we've got the passenger side. Again, memory seats as usual, window up and down. You can't control the driver's side window from the passenger side. but that's all. And you also can't open the boot from the passenger side, but that's fine. Electronic seats, as I showed earlier. There is another button down here, and that just controls this middle thing here. So if you watch that middle thing, you can move it higher, you can move it down, you can move it left. I need to flick the key to on. So to use any of the features, you need to turn the key to on, which is just one flick, so without turning on the ignition, and then you can use the car as normal. But that does only give you about 5 minutes. It times out after 5 minutes, and then you'll probably have to turn on the ignition, and that's just a feature to protect the battery in case you leave it on for too long or something. Anyway, that controls that thing. You can't, I don't know if you can see it moving on camera. Okay, maybe you can't see it moving on camera, but basically when you're sat there, it controls whatever that middle thing is called. And yeah, the basic stuff on the passenger side. So in here is that, whatever that is. I forgot what this little cupboard thing is called. But yeah, you've got this thing where you can store different things. I've only got the last MOT test, no advisories. This car is perfect and good to go. Obviously it passed. It's nothing complicated. The mileage is 111,232. Yeah, great car all around, and I replaced all 4 brakes because it just makes sense. I could have replaced just the front 2 brakes, or I could have replaced just the rear 2 brakes, but it makes sense to replace all 4, even braking all around. You've got the unlock key for the wheels, and I don't know what's in this. Oh no, it's a little do-rag thing for my girlfriend that she uses to protect her hair. All right, that's that. So other storage compartments, you've got storage in here, and that's where you can store something. You've got a 12-volt plug through there if you need for anything, and you can close that up. And guys, I did clean the car when I took the photos, but in the video obviously it's not very clean. It's gonna need another clean when you do buy it. If you make an offer on the car and you say, hey, I'm coming to collect it tonight, I'll make sure it's nice and clean for you. I mean, that's the least I can do, right? New owner and everything. Okay, you've got another storage compartment here where I store my drinks and cups and stuff. This makes sure my eyes don't look tired in the morning, and in there is where I store more stuff. Let me take my ID and that out. There we go. And I had some paracetamol in there, but sunglasses, the best sunglasses ever. I love these bad boys. They look like police sunglasses. They're not branded or anything, but they look great. Imagine driving down summer day, roof down. Yeah. So yeah, that's the storage compartment, and then you've got aircon for the back. Let me show the back a little bit. Some of us might have kids or friends that want to ride in the car. So you pull the lever back and it will move forward. Again, it's not very clean. The dust you're seeing is sawdust because I had the seats down, the rear seats down, and I had some sawdust in the bag for my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it made the car dirty and I need to have it hoovered all over again. So, yep, more sawdust in the bag, but don't worry about that. More cup holders in this storage compartment. There we go. If you've got children, you can hook your car seat up in there. Not car seat. Yeah, is it called a car seat? Baby seat. The seats where your kids, I don't have kids as you can tell. Anyway, you can hook that up there. If you've got a Blazer on the way to work, you can hook that up there. Amazing sound system, very, very good sound system. A sound bar there at the back, and obviously, as I mentioned, the seats fold. I'll show you the back, but it's very dirty because, as I mentioned, sawdust is everywhere. Let's close that up. So this is the rear. A very large, I don't know the size, but it's a very large boot size, and you can hit these and there you go. They unlatch the rear seats so you can fold the rear seats and get more boot space. I don't recommend getting sawdust in there. It was a bag of sawdust. It wasn't open. I thought I'd be fine, but the goddamn thing got sawdust everywhere. And the rear seats, oh, fold down like that, so you get way more space. And yeah, just ignore the fact that it needs a hoover in here. But there's that child seat hook thing I was talking about. Anyway, you get airbags in here as well, so safety is paramount. If you're wondering what these things are, these black lines, there's one at the front as well, there by the front window. Let me zoom in. There you go. They're parking sensors. So I'll show those when I do the drive. But yeah, that's it for storage. That's it for rear seats. Very comfortable leather bucket seats. Obviously designed for those tight corners, that aggressive driving, and just that all-round sporty look. And yeah, that's it for this boot compartment. And this is the car. So I'm gonna jump in. Actually, before I jump in, let's pop the boot open. So these mats, you might want to replace this, but you know, they are AMG, so gotta get that sorted out. Anyway, parking brake is right down there. It's also on the left hand side there. But let's pop the boot open from down here. All right, the boot has been popped open. Let's have a look at the beast itself, the engine, the most important part of this whole car. You've got coolant in there, you've got brake fluid, you've got the battery in here, but you don't have to access the battery, because if you ever need to jump it, the positive is right there and the negative is that thing there. Yeah, wiper fluid, I need to top it up. Powered by Brabus. It actually has a Brabus cooling kit in here, so if you see that large red pipe, that is not standard. That's a massive coolant pipe to keep the engine cool. Very sporty. And yeah, there's the engine under the cover. And yeah, turbo, filter, everything is here on the left side. And there's the engine, and then you've got all the gizmos in here. So what would I recommend doing to this car engine wise? Absolutely nothing. You don't need to do anything to this car. It's perfect as it is, but you will probably need to. So there's two batteries to the car. There's a battery by the engine that powers the engine on and off, and there's also a secondary battery which is very, very small, which sits back in the boot here, down at the back. Let's lift that. So under here I've got a bird's nest, the spare wheel. There's no spare wheel with this car. Extra fuel in case you need extra fuel, and an empty bottle of coolant that I need to top up. Some jump leads, because I used to buy other cars in the past, and when I'd go pick up other cars, I might need to jump them. Anyway, the spare battery is down under here. I don't know if you can see it, and you might do to replace that little tiny battery. I think the tiny battery does other things like electronics to make sure, you know, the car, I don't actually know if I'm honest, but you get two batteries anyway. One battery for the car and the engine and everything, and then a little spare battery to make sure that if you can listen to music for 10 hours or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, jumping into the car. Let's start it up. Oh shit, it's it shows a little boot bonnet thing there when you've not closed the bonnet properly, so it's probably too soft when I closed it. Let's crack that open one more time. There's sensors that basically check that you've closed everything properly. So when you close the bonnet, bonnet, you need to make sure you give it a good slam. There we go. And then when you come to check the sensor, yep, that error has gone off. You can't drive with that error on. The fucking back seats now. All right, you can't start because the rear back seats aren't locked back in. I didn't put them back. Okay, I'm just gonna stop the video, do all the little things to make sure the car's ready to go. Okay, we're back. It would help if I turn the sound down so you can hear me. So the different features when you're driving and you know you're ready to go. You've got eco mode down there. You've got parking sensors if you'd like to turn them off. Let me just show you the parking sensors for a minute. Let's go back. So as you can see, can you see the lines down over there? And as you get closer and closer to the barrier, they start to fill up, and they're saying, hey, you're getting too close, too close, too close, too close, until they turn red, and you need to be like, okay, I'm very close to whatever's in front of me. Then you I'll put the car in park now. It's a semi-automatic. All that means is that it's automatic, but you do have the option for manual. So you can put it in sport, let that focus, sport, manual, or eco. 99% of the time I'm driving in eco mode, which is the E. However, there are some times where I put it into sport. Say I'm at a red light, a little what's it called, Ford's S, what's the S Ford Sport, I don't think they're called Sport, S-Type or some shit, I don't know. Anyway, a little Ford Focus might pull up next to me. I'll put it in sport mode and show him, you know, I've got 9 gears, or is it 7 gears on this Merc. I've got, basically he's not gonna beat me when I stop the car, even if I've got less horsepower than him, because off the line it's just, you know, it's built for stuff like this. So I've got the handbrake on, which is what that is. The handbrake lever's over here, so pull that and it unhooks the handbrake. It's a manual handbrake, not an electronic one. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, eco. And yeah, there's sat nav in the car, there's radio, there's a disc changer in there, there's your phone, and obviously you can press the buttons down here to dial and everything. And yeah, there's also, there's aircon, dual aircon. So the passenger, let me put this in drive. Parking sensors will be going off because it's in drive, but I've got my foot on the brake, and let's press the handbrake in. There we go. So it's got, oh, let's zoom out. There we go. It's got dual. This zonal means that I can have it freezing on the left hand side and hot on the right hand side. So 2 different temperatures. So on the left side is blowing cold air, on the right side is blowing hot air. And you know, if you argue about your girlfriend about whether to have the heating on or off, this car will solve that problem. But I turn zonal off. I like the temperature in the car to be just one temperature. You can put it on 22 and you know, the car will stay on that, or you can just put it on automatic and it'll figure out what sort of, if the windows are misted up, it'll unmist them. It'll, you know, it's automatic. You don't have to play with the aircon, and it will always keep it at room temperature, which is 22 automatically. And that's a good feature that I use all the time, because I don't know what aircon I need to be on. I don't know if the rear window needs demisting. I'll get up in the morning, I get in the car, I start the car, and you know, the headlights are auto, the aircon is auto. I just have to set my sat nav right, put some tunes on. I've got BBC Radio 1 Extra playing right now, but I've muted that on the steering wheel. Some of the steering wheel buttons, actually, you can use this voice feature. You can use the mute, unmute. You can use, I'm gonna turn this off, guys. There we go. You can use all sorts of different features on the steering wheel, up and down. You can use this wheel, there's a back button, there's a C button, and you can put it into different modes, like sport mode, which is let that focus, sport, manual mode, so you can select the gears that you want. I can't do anything right now. The gears are semi-automatic, so it won't let you go into second gear unless you're driving, obviously. But let me put this back into park, and then reverse, neutral, and drive. Anyway, back into park. So yeah, I'm gonna put it back into eco mode. I'm gonna put the phone in my pocket as I drive off, just because it's illegal to drive and be on your phone. So there might be lots of shaking, you might not even be able to see much, but just to show you a little bit of the car, because I don't have someone else recording. I also don't have a phone holder, so I can't record myself driving. But yeah, here's the car driving, and then we'll finish off with some bad points. Okay, so I'm gonna reverse now. Let me just fix my mirror that I've got changed. I don't know why I put it like this. It was to show you guys the mirror. I'll edit this bit out. Anyway, I'm in a car park at the minute, so obviously I'm limited as to what speed I can go. I'm also in eco mode, so you won't hear the car. But yeah, this is just the car driving. Let's show you a little bit. And yeah, the car's just normal. I'm in eco mode, the most fuel efficient mode that you can have. Everything sound wise is turned off. You won't hear the car much, if you know, if at all. There's a few cars here, so I'm not gonna put it into sport mode and shoot off. Also the window wipers, they're automatic, so they sense when there's rain. I've got a bit of wiper fluid, so let's clean that. There we go. It's currently raining out here, which is why the video is so dull and ugly. But yeah, let me stick it in sport mode now, give it a nice decent acceleration, and then you get to hear this beast. So the car is now in neutral, it's not going anywhere. The handbrake is on. There we go, handbrake sign is on. And just to give you a feel of the power, the fuel isn't that great, but let's stick it in sport mode, and this allows it to rev pretty high. And that's the beauty of the car. You want to be able to rev off the line pretty high and just enjoy the car. And as I said, that wiper thing is automatic as well. Another one of those little things that you never have to think about. You don't have to think about the headlights, you don't have to think about the wipers when it's raining, you don't have to think about the aircon. The car is just beautiful in that way. Anyway, looking at the rev meter, speed will stay constant. Actually, I better record the speed as well, just to show you guys that I'm not driving this thing. I'm parked up, and I'm not breaking the law. Open the window. People love Mercedes when they rev. Honestly, if I could record this on a drive, I'll try and get some footage on the way home of me driving in sport mode. It'll be in my pocket, so you won't be able to see as much, but you'll probably get a feel for the sound as I drive, because again, the valves aren't open, so you don't get that raw beautiful sound. But yeah, that's the car there. Let me do a little drive now in sport mode, park up somewhere else, and then get out the car, point out the bad bits, and we're done with the video. Close the window now so you don't hear it as much, but it's in sport mode, so it's still got that aggressive. It's got the aggression in there. Again, guys, you can't beat this car. This is the famous W204, the best version of the W204, the C-Class Coupe. All right, we're parked back up. Put that in park, handbrake on, and yeah, that's it. Let me get out the car with the engine running, show you the bad bits, and we'll finish off the video. Oh shit, the rain is bad. I'll make this quick. Okay, so it's got a little dent there. You can pop that out somehow. The wheels could do with a refurb. You can paint them to a different color that you like. It's got a little thing there from me getting stuff in and out of the boot. It's got a little scratch there. It's got a little dent there. It's got a little scratch there. It's got that needs tightening. Just keep going around, and a little dent there. And again, there's a little piece here where someone smashed into my windscreen mirror. But if you're worried about your mirrors getting wrecked, here's another thing you don't have to worry about when you park the car. Let's say you park the car on your street and you're like, okay, I'm going in the house now. Do I need to fold my mirrors? And no, this is a Mercedes. You don't have to think about that. You just lock your car and the mirrors automatically fold in. No worries. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is my beast. And to the new owner, honestly, listen, it's an AMG. Everything is here in this car. I wish I could keep it because it would never age. It's one of them cars. Thanks for watching and peace out.